Hey guys, Thogden here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, we're going to be going through every Premier League club and giving them a grade for their season so far. Because when we have an international break, it gives us an opportunity, a week, to sit down with my dad and go through every club. You looking forward to it?
All I'm looking forward to, Theo, is talking about Bolton Wanderers 4, Liverpool under-21s 1.
You can just cut out the under-21s bit. We beat Liverpool, Thogden.
We did. I am so excited. Forget the Premier League.
Yeah, forget it. Arsenal now.
Oi, that is my bit. Arsenal now. They are in 11th place after 7 games. I tell you what, it was a shocking start, but they've come back good, haven't they? 10 points in the last 4 games. But, Theo, that 5-0 defeat by Man City, doesn't that show the gulf in quality?
The Brentford 2-0 loss, the Chelsea 2-0 loss, the Man City 5-0 loss. It all played a part in a very slow start for Arsenal Football Club. However, the first international break, the signing of Tomiyasu, Gabriel returning, they had a bit of a COVID outbreak, they got back from that, and Arsenal look aside now, didn't they? And that was really sparked in their 3-1 home win in their North London derby. Brilliant. I was even there. Great atmosphere.
Absolutely. When Saka and Smith Rowe and Lacazette and Aubameyang play well, then Arsenal are a very good team. But they've got the 6th most expensive squad in the league. 11th place is not good enough. So for that, Theo, C- for me.
C-?
Yeah, not good enough.
That's way too low, Thogdad. They've bounced back from their slow form. I think they're going to kick on for the rest of the season. Arsenal have recently performed better than I've expected. I'm giving them a B.
Oh, come on. They're founding members of the European Super League. They're 11th. How can you give them a B?
What does the Super League have to do with it? You just randomly brought that up. And by the way, it's not just the players you mentioned that have played well. Gabriel has been brilliant since he's come back. Ramsdale showing so much passion and quality. Ben White is quietly having a very good season. Just saying that. A good bunch of players. Arteta's turned it around. I've got the better grade there.
Aston Villa now, they're in 10th place. They were shocked on the opening day of the season by Watford 3-2, but they've sneaked back after that, haven't they, Theo?
Yeah, they've had some tough fixtures. I know they lost to Watford, but they went on to beat the likes of Everton, Manchester United away from home, and, they've had to play Spurs and Chelsea as well in the first 6 games. That's 4 tough games out of the first 6.
Absolutely.
And let's not forget, they've just lost Jack Grealish. I say just. They don't have him this season, and that's a big hit because when you lose your best player, you have to work out a new tactic. I know they've got Leon Bailey who's been starting to perform, but then he got injured.
Yeah.
They've had quite a few doubts, haven't they, Dad?
Absolutely. I want to see more from Buendia and Danny Ings. But you know what? Overall, 10th place, it isn't bad. They were 11th last season. I'm giving them a C. I expect a lot more. My question to you, Theo, can they challenge for Europe?
I actually think they've showed real character. Like when they went away to United and won 1-0. Courtney House comes in, scores a header, has a great game. The likes of him, John McGinn, the list could go on. They've had some good performers this season. I'm going to give them a B because I think they will bounce on and start to get more wins. I'd like to see more from the likes of Buendia.
Brentford now, what a start they've had to the season. They're in 7th place. They started off by beating Arsenal at home, and there were tears at the Brentford Community Stadium. 3-3 against Liverpool. What an amazing season, Theo.
Amazing. Incredible. Who'd have thought their first year in the Premier League, they would start off with 7 games played, 3 wins, 3 draws and a loss. It's incredible. And it's not just one player, it's the whole team. It's the manager Thomas Frank putting a positive attitude on the boys to go out there and fight for a win. The great example of that is West Ham away. You're drawing, it comes to a late opportunity in the game, and Wissa, I didn't know him before that match, let's be honest, comes off the bench and wins it for them with a big volley from a set piece. It's like every single boy wants to fight for the shirt. It's great to watch.
It's brilliant to see. Now, Brentford have got the youngest squad in the league, 24.5 years old. They've also got the most foreign players, Theo, 25 out of 31. And they look to places like Denmark for these bargains. So they've not spent much money, but they've spent it so well. It's a brilliantly run club.
A. Yeah, I'm giving them an A as well. I think we agree on this one because it's quite obvious. When the whole team's performing like they are, they were a team expected to get relegated at the start of the season. They've completely thrown that out the window. Well done to the Bees.
Brighton and Hove Albion of the South Coast are in 6th place this season. And for me, the difference is Neil Maupai's taking his chances this year. 4 goals already.
Dad, the difference for me is the whole squad. I think the signing of Mark Cucurella has made a massive difference. It's added a lot of creativity and pace down that left flank. He's showing his true Barcelona colours in the Premier League. You can tell that, can't you? And I have to say, it's more the manager than anything. Graham Potter is doing wonders for these Brighton players' confidence. The fact that some games, if they had won, they would have gone top of the Premier League is astonishing. Good example is Shane Duffy. Last season went on loan to Celtic. I didn't know if he would come back into this Brighton team. I thought his time might be up. But no, he's been one of their best players, smashing at every Premier League game this season. It's just great to see.
It is brilliant. Now, last season, Brighton undershot their XG all season long. This season, they're actually getting points late on. I mean, what they did in the M23 derby was brilliant. A late show.
I wouldn't call it the M23 derby. I don't agree with Thogden. The Palace fans and Brighton fans will hate you for that. But I agree with you. Brighton are starting to score important goals like they should have done last season. Well done to Malpai. Well done to the Brighton team. Big up the gaffer.
And I tell you what, I'm giving Brighton an A. And I've got a question for you. The next England manager, will it be Graham Potter?
Well, you got to give Southgate more time. He's had a pretty good job. I'm agreeing with you though, Dad. Of course, Brighton's an A. Congrats, guys. You've done well.
Burnley of Lancashire now. They've got new owners, but it's more of the same. For the fans, they're in 18th place. No wins, only 5 goals scored. Can the likes of Maxwell Cornet save Burnley?
Well, he looked like he was saving them until he got injured, and that was a big loss for the Claret and Blue boys because he was actually something. He added a bit of a finish, pace, something they've lacked. McNeil this season's been brilliant at creating. No one's been on the end of it. They did have the opportunity to get that first win against Leicester, that 2-2 draw, the VAR at the end. They were very unfortunate to not win that game. But the fact we've come to the second international break and Sean Dyche still hasn't got a win, it's worrying.
It is. He's got the oldest squad in the league, and I just don't see how they can stay up. So overall, I'm giving them a D. You've got to win games of football. Now, I know last season they left it a bit late. You can't do that every season.
Dad, I agree. I'm giving them a D. Do I think it could change? Probably. I think Sean Dyche always finds a way, and if that means doing more business in January, then so be it. But let's find out. I still think they'll survive, but we agree on the grade.
Chelsea now, top of the league after 7 games, and they've looked magnificent at times, particularly in defence for me. Rudiger, Christensen, Alonso, Chilwell's come in, Aspi, and N'Golo Kante in
Dad,
the middle.
You can name the whole team.
You can
it's
name
the
the whole
Tuchel
team.
effect, isn't it? He makes everybody perform. Dad, they're top of the league. I'm going to get my grade out of the way. Of course, the Blue Boys are getting it at 8 because they've smashed it. And it's little things like bringing Ruben Loftus-Cheek back into the team after so many back injuries. Like, I'm genuinely very happy to see him starting again. Chalobah, I did not expect him to be starting every game for Chelsea. The fact he's playing at the back with Rudiger and Thiago Silva, all 3 of them look brilliant. And that's what makes a Premier League winning team. When you've got 3 centre-backs who are all looking brilliant from the get-go to the finish. Chelsea are in first place for a reason. They're smashing it. They've had a perfect start apart from their 1-0 loss to City and their draw to Liverpool, haven't they?
That is true, Theo. I reckon this season it could be a 3-horse race between Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool. And I think that defeat to Man City could be the difference.
I think it's going to go right down to the wire this season. This Premier League season is going to be more interesting than others. And as fans, all of us of this league, I'm looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Chelsea and A, you're top of the league.
Yeah, I agree with the A.
Crystal Palace, you've got a new manager in Patrick Vieira, quite a young lad. He's only won 1, drawn 4, lost 2. It's not bad, is it, Theo?
It's not bad. Not bad at all. But 1 win isn't good enough at this stage. But the club are showing character. I can't deny that. West Ham away, Conor Gallagher goes and scores 2 to make them come back. Leicester at home, they're 2-0 down. They scored 2 late goals very recently to come back into the game. Patrick Vieira is a new manager in the Premier League. He's not got that experience as a gaffer in this division. I think it's good to see he's starting to build it on and things. He's playing well. I think there's more to come from Palace.
Absolutely. Michael Olise's come in and scored. Odson Edouard has made an instant impact.
Yeah.
Eberechi Eze, what a shame that he's got that Achilles tendon injury. I reckon Crystal Palace will be safe all day long. C+.
I've given them a C, but I know the next time I rank Palace, it'll be higher because they are starting to develop their performances. So well done to Vieira.
Everton now, and I've got to say I got this one a little bit wrong. They had a new manager. I was underwhelmed by signings such as Gray and Doucouré and Townsend. But you know what? Everton and Rafa have done brilliant, haven't they?
They've done amazing. He's had to deal with, being the new manager at the club, okay? Losing James Rodriguez, their best player last season. Let's not forget, elsewhere from that, they've dealt with off-the-pitch problems with one of their Icelandic midfielders having a bit of a shocker and completely going from the team. That is a lot of an effect on the squad when they're trying to practice for the Premier League in a pre-season. He's only had a small budget, only a few million to spend on the likes of Damari Gray and Townsend. Yet they're 5th in the table. And they've had some massive wins. And they look like beating United away last week. Rafa's so good at that. But it's just outstanding how good they're playing.
Absolutely. I'm surprised. And I'm going to give Everton an A. And good luck.
Absolutely. I'm giving them an A too. They've been brilliant. And I think one special thing they've done is playing Doucouré in a more forward role. Yeah. He's getting so many contributions. We should be considering him in FPL. I was doing this video.
I am.
And I was like, I should bring him in. If he's got a good run of games, I might actually bring him in. Well done to the Toffees. 5th place. Might even be a European tour next year.
Leeds United are 16th, and it took them 7 games to register their first victory. And the problem's at both ends, Theo. Only 7 goals scored, 14 goals conceded. It's not good enough, is it?
Last season, that would never happen, would it?
It wouldn't. And you know what? I look at the bottom 6, and the only surprise team there is Leeds United. I think it'll come good, but so far, really not very good.
We saw the suspension and injury list for Leeds defenders over the last few games. It's been shocking. At one stage of the season, they lost Ayling, Llorente, Strojic. Who else? Bamford's been out for a certain stage.
Has.
And other defenders. It's a bit of a madness. They've got their win recently. It's something to build on. I think the international break has come at the right time for them so they can regroup, get the players back. If they've got slight injuries, they're not going to go on international break. They're going to be focused on getting ready, and these Yorkshiremen will start to get results again. I believe in it. But right now, it's not good enough. I'm giving Bielsa a C. I think he'll turn it around, though.
That is very generous, actually. Rodrigo also is a player who is disappointing a lot of Leeds fans. I'm giving Leeds a D.
You're giving them a D?
Absolutely. They should be mid-table. They should be building on what they did last season, and they haven't been.
Thogdad's the harsh man today.
Leicester City are 13th and underperforming, but bizarrely, Jamie Vardy is leading the Golden Boot race
Smashing
with 6 goals. But big players are not turning up. Harvey Barnes, James Maddison, where are you?
Dad, which other 34-year-old striker in the world would be saving a club like he is for Leicester? It's incredible. They've not been good. They've been poor. What has happened to the likes of James Maddison this season? I know you've had a kid, but that's not an excuse to pull a stinker every game. Leicester need to turn it round. I don't know what Brendan Rodgers can do, but it hasn't been good.
Yeah, I'm just going to give Leicester City a D+. Now, it's only 7 games, and I'll think they'll come good. They'll be comfortably top 10, but not good enough so far.
I don't know where you get the plus from. I'm giving them a D. It's very simple. They haven't been good enough, and they've got to turn it round. I think having a couple weeks off will be good. They can try and regroup and get their form back.
Liverpool are 2nd in the league, and after 7 games, they're the only team that is undefeated. 17 goals, Mo Salah 6 goals, Mane 4 goals, Mo Salah. Everything has been said about that guy. The goal he scored at the weekend, I think, is one of the best goals in Premier League history.
I do want to say, before we get onto the Reds, how much character there is in this division when every single team has registered a loss in the second international break already, apart from one club.
Amazing.
It just shows every team's out there to get a win against the big boys. It's brilliant to see, but it also shows a lot about Liverpool's character, doesn't it? Virgil van Dijk is back, and he's making a big impact. Even if it isn't on the pitch, it's just more the aura, him being there and the confidence it brings to the whole defence. The likes of Simicast comes in for Robbo, and he's had a masterclass. He's put in a shift whilst he was out, didn't he?
And 2 names I've got to mention are Curtis Jones and Jordan Henderson, Theo. I think both of them have been magnificent this season.
I think everybody that comes in, like even James Milner, had a great game against Man City last week. Like anyone that comes in under Jurgen Klopp puts in a shift. But Dad, Salah, he's just so good. He's right up there with one of the best players in the world. We know that. Is he the best?
Theo, he's got over 100 goals in about 250 shots, so 40% of his shots go in. Anyone who plays football knows that is magnificent. He is special.
Being at Liverpool, Man City, I saw one of the best goals I've ever seen live at a football match, and that was Salah's second goal. It was insane.
Theo, I was screaming the house down. I'm a neutral, and the same for the Foden goal. It was just a brilliant game of football.
The Foden goal was mental too. What a game. But 2 teams I think we're going to see right at the end of the Premier League season. 1 point from top of the league for Liverpool. Sadio Mane's on form again. Jota's popping up with goals when need be. The whole team is settling in and looking like they can win the Premier League. Do you not agree?
Wow, that is a very big shout. I think they'll be top 3. I'm giving them an A.
I'm giving them an A too.
Manchester City are 3rd, but they lost on the opening day to Spurs that can't have pleased them. But there's one thing I want to say, Theo. If it hadn't been for shocking refereeing, Man City would be top. You were at that game. How did Milner not get sent off?
That is a good point. And a lot of City fans were fuming about that. But can I just say, City last week, just as an example, played 3 games away from home. And it weren't just 3 average games, because that in itself is a lot of travelling. But they went to Liverpool, they went to PSG, and they went to Chelsea. 3 of the hardest clubs in the world. They played within a week. That's insane, isn't it? And by the way, they beat Chelsea away, the first team to beat Tuchel, in absolutely ages. Then you've got Liverpool, which they drew against 2-2, good result, Foden and De Bruyne back. Fair enough for the PSG game. They should have won that game early doors and killed it off, but they didn't. 3 solid performances, though.
And I'll tell you what, Phil Foden, you are magnificent. Bernardo Silva, brilliant. KDB, what a team that is. If they just had a striker, they would win everything.
I've given City an A, and part of it is they've missed Foden and Kevin De Bruyne for most of the Premier League season. They've only just come back recently. So the fact you can lose 2 key players and still perform like you can win the Premier League, That is enough to give me an A. So City, Pep, well done. You're starting to make this Premier League title race really interesting.
But you lost to Spurs, B+.
Oh, Thogdad going back to game week 1 there.
Manchester United now, I mean, they are 4th, aren't they, Theo? Which isn't bad, but at times they've played some really poor football.
Yeah.
I mean, let's start with the positives. Pogba, 7 assists. Bruno's got 4 goals. Cristiano's come in and tapped a few in. But overall, losing at home to Aston Villa, drawing to Everton, there's this Old Trafford curse at the moment.
That they would have lost to Everton if Tom Davis took a good touch.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Yeah.
Simple. They would have lost that game as well. And Ole's job would probably be on the line if they lost that. I'm serious. It's crazy. They haven't actually played incredible football recently. Ronaldo saved them versus Villarreal. And he's had some very good games early on in the Premier League. But even he's started to slow down a little bit in the Premier League lately. I personally, I mean, they're on the same points as City, so it feels weird to say all these negative stuff. We've got to credit them. Bruno has been pretty good this season. He's popped up with important goals and assists. He's probably been their best performer with Ronaldo. Greenwood at the start of the season was unstoppable. Okay, he slowed down a little bit recently, but they've had some great performances. The way they started against Leeds was incredible, wasn't it?
It was, Theo, but the next 4 games, Leicester, Liverpool, Spurs and Manchester City. I'm selling all my Man United assets.
Same.
All day long. It's a funny one because Man United is the second most expensive squad in the league. It's one of the most expensive squads in the world. They should be doing better.
Yeah, we got to give a mention to Pogba. 7 assists. Incredible start to the season for him. I've seen him play better this year at some points. Basically, his prime for United, really.
Yeah.
It's great to see, and I'm sure there's going to be double figures very soon for Pogba on assists. I've got to say, overall, I'm giving United a B, and that's partly because they messed up a few games. They have clutched in some others, and they're still in a Premier League title race. 100%. They can still win that, can't they?
I don't think they can, no. I don't think they'll be top 3.
They're 2 points from top of the league.
Theo, look at their fixtures that they've had and that's coming up. I'm giving them a B-. They've got to start performing at Old Trafford in front of 70-odd thousand people.
I feel like I've just been shot in Squid Game after you said that. Bloody hell, Thogdan. I mean...
Theo, you're number 457.
You're just mugging me off now. I'm going to leave.
Newcastle United in 19th place. But you know what? It's time for a Thogdad fact, isn't it, Theo? Because you know what? This season, if you like goals in your Premier League action, you go to Newcastle or West Ham United. 24 goals in 7 games. Now, the problem is, most of them in the wrong net.
I was going to say, that stat wasn't really adding up in my head for a second. Not good enough from Brucey. Too reliant on Alan Saint-Maximin whilst Callum Wilson is injured. They need him back desperately. International break couldn't have come at a better time. Listen, the way they're playing, they're going to get relegated. Will they go down?
Theo, it's going to be squeaky bum time all season, and I predicted this at the start of the season. They're going to be in that dogfight of 5 teams. 3 draws after 7 games, no wins. You've got to win games. You've got to find 9 or 10 games that you're going to win.
That Joe Willock hasn't been scoring like he did last season, hasn't got a goal yet registered this season, which is unfortunate. But you look at the team, it really isn't that strong. It's a team that are going to be fighting it out in the relegation places. I'm going to give Newcastle a D. They need to start getting wins. I'm sure Brucey always seems to find a way, so...
He's a good manager working under difficult circumstances. D. Norwich City in 20th place. You've got 1 point all season. You've got the least goals scored with 2. You've got the most goals conceded. What are you doing in this league? What are you adding to this division, Norwich City? Because you're going to be one of the worst teams in Premier League history.
Timu Pukki, what's happened to him?
He's not showing up. No one's showing up.
Todd Cantwell.
Yeah.
He used to show up in the Premier League, didn't he? Rashika, the new signing. I've not heard anything of him. You know, they've not made the correct signings. The only player I think that's showing any bit of character and passion is the Norwegian winger, Matthias Norman. He's been brilliant in the 2 games he's played. And I think he could start kicking on and maybe even save them. The funny thing is, they're only 1 win away from getting out this relegation zone if results went that way. But right now, relegation is daunting on him, isn't they?
Theo, it's been absolutely horrible, but they spent 50-odd million. That's a lot more than Everton and Brentford, but they've obviously spent it wrong. 20th place, E. How can you give anything else to Norwich City?
I agree. I've also gone for it. But you know what? It's funny. They could have won that Burnley game. They took their chances. They win 1-0. We're not giving them an E.
But they didn't.
They're in survival.
Coulda, shoulda, Theo.
Yeah, true.
Where are their wins come from? Do they have any chance in the world of staying up? Southampton in 17th place. The fans are getting nervous. No wins, 4 draws. Theo, what do you think?
They've had some good draws, like, United game, and they've had some good performances. We've seen Adam Armstrong, glimpses of quality, but not enough goals from him and Che Adams. Che Adams still hasn't scored. It's just not good. I don't think the likes of Dinape Aleppo are good enough to play every week in the Premier League. Ward-Prowse is the captain. He should not. He should be the last man getting a red card. And that's a problem. Yeah. I'm serious. The gaffer needs to have a real word with him and say, listen, you're captaining this team. You're the one telling players what to do. For whatever reason, you do not get a straight red card. He's let the team down there, and it's a hint of a problem at the Saints this season.
I think the moment they sold Danny Ings, I was worried. I'm giving them a D+.
I'm giving them a D. They still haven't won yet, but not enough in that team. They need to find a way of winning, and Hazenhüttl always finds a way. So if you're a Saints fan, keep positive. I'm sure the international break will be good for you.
Tottenham Hotspur are 8th. What a great start to the season with 3 1-0 wins. And then it fell apart. And that man, Harry Kane, he doesn't want to be there, does he, Theo?
Well, Nuno's job was at risk at one stage. You even mentioned it. After that Chelsea battering, it looked pretty bad. Thank God they won versus Villa. It's been very up and down for them. I think Son's been brilliant. 4 contributions in 6 games. You know, Kane in Europe's been all right, but in the Prem he's been shocking. His heart's not there at the moment. I think it will come back, don't get me wrong. And in fact, maybe knocking a few goals in for England against a team like Andorra might be good for his confidence.
Absolutely. I'm going to get straight to it. C-. Not good enough.
Yeah, I'm giving them a C. I think I like the looks of like Romero. Even Eric Dyer looked good against Villa.
Yeah.
You know, there's little positives from Nuno. I'm sure the board will back him and things will start getting good there again. But for now, it's been a rocky road. C.
Watford are 15th, and they've already sacked their manager. That I think is very harsh.
Disgrace.
But that's the Watford way. You lose a couple of games, you sack your manager. That is a disgrace.
Dad,
but I tell you what, 2 wins in 7 games for Watford ain't bad.
We both predicted them to finish 20th.
Yes, yeah.
Žižko got them 2 wins, out the relegation zone, looking like they're going to survive. Sar's banging them in. Ben Foster's making wonder saves. Why did you sack the manager? I'm sorry, I'm fuming. I'm absolutely raging. I thought it was a terrible decision. And if you're a Watford fan, I mean, okay, good luck to Claudio Ranieri. Dilly ding, dilly dong. But you know what I mean? He is a great gaffer, but will it work again?
Do you know what? I'd give an E to the board of directors, but I'll give a C to the team because winning 2 games is not bad.
Yeah, I'd give a B to the team, Dad. They're out the relegation zone. They've won important games. It's not been easy for them.
West Ham United are 9th, and that man, Michail Antonio, played 6 of them, 5 goals and 3 assists. He's a special player, isn't he, Theo?
Brilliant. And, you know, West Ham start the season with 8 goals in 2 games. Remember the days. Now they're losing to Brentford. No, it's not been that bad. It sounds worse than it is. They've got European fixtures. You know, they've had to go to Rapid Vienna. They've had to fly to Croatia and play midweek. And it's tough, isn't it? When you're new to that and you're not used to it. Look how Leicester have dealt with it this season. Not very well.
They're a great team to watch, Theo, but they're slipping away a bit. Only 1 win in the last 5. And for that reason, I'm giving them a C+. I think they can do slightly better.
I'm giving them a B. It's not easy when you've got European fixtures like I mentioned, but they're still top 10 in the league, scoring as many goals as the top teams. So fair play to him. Antonio Benrahma, they've been excellent. Declan Rice is only improving too.
Wolverhampton Wanderers are 12th, and it's time for another Thog Dad fact, which is a reverse of the other one, because if you hate watching goals, come to Wolverhampton. 11 goals in 7 games. And I tell you what, Jimenez, starting to come good. I can see the signs.
Thanks to Hwang Hee-chan.
Yes.
The South Korean striker, who I saw play for Salzburg, turning Virgil van Dijk back in the day. I watched him and thought, this guy's got a bit of pace and finishing about him. He might have something special. Now he's in the Premier League banging in the goals. And actually, getting important goals. You know, Wolves at the start had a good XG, but they weren't converting. The likes of Adama Traore and Trincao, their finishing was off. But Hwang Hee-chan knows how to finish his dinner. He's not leaving any gravy in his Yorkshire pudding. I'm telling you, that geezer is Wolves' saviour. Him and Jimenez are smashing it.
I tell you what, Wolves are quite tight at the back, but they've just not got the results. 12th isn't good enough, and for that reason, D+.
Fuck, Dad! They're playing well. They just beat Newcastle and Southampton.
Yeah,
You've got to
just beat Newcastle and Southampton.
You've got to win them. They're both fighting for a win as much as Wolves are. That's a 6-pointer.
Wolves are different gravy to Newcastle and Southampton.
You're a mug. You've really let the Wolves boys down. I'm going to respect him and give him a C.
It's not that great, is it?
But it's better than what do you say, D-, D+, whatever.
Theo, I'm signing you up for Squid Game.
That's it. Well, you're mugging me off. Hwang Hee-chan's the answer. And that's it for me. That is the end of the video. We've ended it calling Thog Dad a mug. Not very different to the usual bits of content, but smash the subscribe button if you want more Premier League content. If you'd like to see a season review of potentially Championship or League One? Let me know in the comments. And what other Premier League videos would you like during international break? We've got a bit of time to sit down with this melt and talk about football.
Absolutely, and we're off to Sheffield Wednesday Bolton on Saturday, so tune in for that.
Thogdad, how many likes do you want this video though?
Oh, I'd like 20,000, come on.
We're not getting, it's not happening, I'm sorry. If we get 20,000 likes, I'll get a Leon tattoo on my ass again.
But you won't, will
It'll
you?
be next to the one that I was meant to get. I'll just get 2 Leon tattoos.
He's all talk.
You know what? I'm just ending this video. Let's see what happens if we get 20k likes. Bye guys.